Welcome. What you see before you is my first official Gundam deck, meaning I don't have any proxies for the first time on this channel. The reason it took so long for me to get here is because product is hard for me to get, so that's basically why. And if you watch my previous video where I opened 24 blister packs, what I did was I challenged myself that I will only build decks with cards I open. So if you see weird ratios in this deck profile, that's probably the reason. I will point out where I think you can upgrade or downgrade something and swap out cards. But the deck I am about to present to you is a Zaft deck, well, a bespoke Zaft deck. And what I ended up doing, which is quite fun, is that I made two versions of it utilizing the same core cards. So there's a red-white version and there's a red-blue version. And these 25 cards, which magically became half the deck, are the core cards. If you are just here to see the list and you don't want any explanation, let me just show you them right now. This is the red-white list. Pause, copy it if you want to see it, but you might not understand why it is. And this is the red-blue version. And pause, copy it, do what you gotta do. But if you want to hear my thoughts on the deck, since I played both in tournaments and casually, just stay tuned to the video and we will get through that today. So, back to my deck. Let me go through the core cards first. What we have here are 4 Jins. Jin is your early gameplay. You just drop it down for 1, and 4 Bukus. Buku is actually really good in this deck because it has support too, so you can actually play a Jin and the next turn play a Buku. Rest the Buku on that same turn, boost the Jin to 4, you can clear an EX base. And that combo is like equivalent to putting down 2 Jins the previous turn. You get the same 4 damage in value, but you have 2 units on the board, right? You still got 2 units on the board if you play 2 Jins. But the value from Buku is that he is almost like having a link unit. You can drop the Buku and you can play the Buku, and on that same turn, rest it to give another card extra 2 AP because it has support too. And that extra 2 AP can go far. That means this Jin can clear a EX base, or it can clear a Lifrith. Which in that, like, how I want to explain this is like, if you had 2 Jins and you swung both into the Lifrith, you lost 2 cards. If you have Buku and Jin and you swung into the Lifrith, you only lost the Jin, and you still accomplished removing the Lifrith and having 1 card left on board. Buku's support, actually, while it seems to be struggling right now, is an amazing ability when used correctly. Next card in the deck is Dual Gundam. The best thing about Dual is that he has the generic Zaft rush, although he only got 1 Zaft pilot in the core. But him and Atherin, you either need Versalius or Buku to get up to 5. But it works pretty good. But I only run in 2. I think I would bump this up to 3 if I had a third one, because it does come in handy. You normally get the breach tree because you can get it to 5 AP pretty easily. If you just don't use if you don't use Atherin and use one of the other pilots, you would get it to 5 AP and you will still get the breach when you need it. So it's a pretty decent card. Regular Aegis Gundam. This is a very situational card because it can only it does ping damage anything 3 HP. It does ping damage to any level 5 or higher character, but because those cards come out a little late, it takes a while. But it does come in handy and pulls off some unexpected plays against people. So I think 2 is a good number to keep it at. Aegis Gundam MA mode. MA mode is just good. It gets breach. It has breach 3 and is a 3/4 for 4/3. If you link it with Atherin, you just get to attack an active level 5 or lower character, and you always get the breach 3. It's a pretty nice card and it pairs very well with Kira, which you can see in the white version. But yeah, and then Atherin, I think Atherin is quite a bad pilot because they locked him down. He gets to attack active, but he can only do it when he links and only on the turn and only level 5 or lower. So it's like they gave him so many restrictions. Like once you play him the first turn, If you get the link, you get the effect for that turn, and that's it. I think Atheron's best thing is that he's a 2 HP pilot, and that is coming handy more than you would think. Vercelius is the only base be playing in both versions of the blue and the red. I realized that. Just getting the 1 AP is coming handy. Like, I tried Corsica, but it's feel expensive in this deck. I tried some other bases, but this is the most versatile one for this build. So I got that at 4. And then the last core card to make the 25 is Desert Tiger. It is Andrew Wetfield if you use it as a command, as a pilot, but it's also a command card that is give 3 AP to a Zaft unit on main and action. This is really just a counter to Unforeseen Incident. If they play Unforeseen, when you get to respawn, you can play Desert Tiger and it cancels it out. And then sometimes this just gives you better trades. Like say someone swung into a Jin with like a Ale Strike, and they had like 4 and they think they will live. You just drop this in the action phase and the trade goes in your favor, to be honest. This is a card that will bump up to 2, but you only open 1, so that's why you only have 1. And that is basically the core cards. Let me talk about the white version. I can put it back on screen soon, but let me just go through the cards. In the white version, I added 4 Zizulus. These are just early game cards to play next to the Jin. It's because it's a 2/2, and Zizulu when it swings at the shield area, it gets another 2 AP. If you have a Buku on the field, this Zizulu can swing for 6, and even if they block it from going at a 6 HP base, whatever they block it with will take 6 AP of damage. So Zizulu is a nice add. I added Blitz Gundam. Blitz Gundam is not as good as it reads. It gives a Zaft unit with 5 or more AP for a strike. The problem is I don't run Nicole in the link. I don't run Nicole in this deck. So the value of the Blitz Gundam is not always online because you need a Zaft unit and you need to have it at 5 AP or above. And none of our Zaft units right now have 5 AP naturally. So it's a lot to put in, but sometimes the first strike is coming handy, so I still running it at 2. Sword Strike. We got Kira in this deck, we got Sword Strike. I added it because it was just a card I opened, so it helps short the deck, but it comes in handy against aggro. So if you get the Sword Strike and the Kira, because you need the link for Sword Strike, is get off a good combo. I got 3 of these, I believe. So they got 3 Sword Strikes in this deck. People should know it by now because it became popular recently. Got 4 Ale Strikes, nothing to say. This is Kira's main Gundam, and it has a lot. It's a blocker. If you're swinging with Kira attached, you can -2 to get some extra value, take less damage. And when you pair it with any pilot, what you end up doing is you get the bounce of 4 HP or less, and all of that is helping control. So we got 4 Ales. I only got 1 Dual Gundam Assault Shroud. This is the one that I don't really like this because, again, it's not 5 AP. So, but besides that, look at the top 3. And you could deploy 1 Zaft unit that's level 4 or lower from among the cards, then return the bottom. Basically, it gives you a free play off top deck. The problem is, the effect only works when paired. So every time I play it, I just keep thinking it more like the Zaku Sniper when it isn't, because I always forget that I need a pair. I only got 1 though, so you don't even need to pair it with a pilot. It don't matter what pilot, and since I don't run Izak, so I gotta give up a Afrin or a Kira in this case. I think I got Suleta in this one as well. You gotta give it a pilot to get it, and then you're still gambling that you get something good off the top deck, but it still play out a free unit, so you shouldn't discount that. You can up the ratio for this, but like I said, I only open 1, so I only have 1. Perfect Strike, another Kira link. It's just here to show up numbers. I only open 1, so I got 1, and the bounce does come in handy for tokens sometimes, but I only got 1, so you don't see it too often. It's linked with Kira, is a blocker 4/4, and it only costs 3. Everybody know Perfect Strike, pretty nice. I got 1 Aerial Rebuild. This is not super important. It's just here to show up numbers and give me some bigger cards. Like, this is the only card, well, one of the only cards that can avoid getting hit for 3 damage by Wing 0. Still get rested by Amuro without a pilot, but it here and in this deck, You could always, if you pull it off, you could get back a Desert Tiger, come in handy, or you could get back Overflowing Affection, which this deck also runs. So you're just here to show up numbers. You could probably swap this for Assault Shroud, or you could swap it for a Sword Strike. You can swap it for different things. This is just what I'm using for now. And the last unit in this is the Justice Gundam. I only opened one as well. This is an After Pair. This is normally a finisher. This give you 2 swings because it's put a token blocker, a 2/2. And if you link with Afrin, this can attack on the turn it plays, and this makes the token attack on the same turn it is summoned. It's a nice finisher, and sometimes it's a nice tempo play to slow down. Like say you need a blocker, you just get a blocker which could save you and a 5/5 on the field. So it's versatile. It's not doing as good as I hope, but it's there and it links with Afrin and it works in this deck. I think there's another card you could up the ratio. Like you could swap out the Aerial Rebuild and put in another Justice or 2, to be honest. And I wouldn't fault you there. The star pilot in this deck is Kira, and the reason is not just that it's Kira and he like Jesus, but in the MA mode, if you put Kira in the MA mode, the Aegis Gundam, it becomes a 5/5 that when it swings, it decreases the opponent's attack by 2 and still gets Breach 3. So this lives longer and you still get the Breach 3. You put it in the Dual Gundam, same thing. This automatically gets it Breach 3 because Kira pushes it to 5 automatically. You swing at something, you decrease the attack by 2 cause of Kira, you get your Breach 3. Amazing. This one does work with Atherin normally, but you put Kira in this again, you swing at something, you live because you can minus the 2, and you got the 5 AP. Right, and you got the 5 or more AP, so you could deal damage to a level 5. Like, Kira inside of the Zaft units feel more natural than Afrin inside the Zaft units. Like, I think Kira is just an amazing pilot, and as much as I try not to use him, he is an amazing pilot. Like, so he not only is he amazing in his own units like Ale Strike, he is amazing in all of these Zaft units. And then don't ever forget we got the base like a gear +1 or Buku, and you can reach some interesting numbers. You can reach 7 pretty easily. You can even reach 8 on some units. Like, Kira just amazing, and the deck does work. So 4 Kiras, we got 1 Suletta. This is just an extra pilot. Most of you just put this to get some extra HP on something. If you happen to have this and the rebuild, which you only have 1 copy of each, you get out lucky and you might pull off something cool. But Suletta just here as an extra pilot in case I need to place it on something to make a favorable trade. Oh, and I have a holographic one. And then lastly, Overflowing Affection is the basic draw 2 trash one in all white decks, or all decks that run white. And that's how it goes. Let me just bring up the screen to show you the full list here. This is the full red white list in its entirety. And I think I basically explained all the plays, but for early game, what you want is you want to see Jin and Zizulu and a Buku, maybe a pilot in hand. If you know you're going against aggro, Sword Strike and Kira is the Sword Strike and Kira are the plays. And with this deck, what you are playing for is value. Like, you need to make the best trades. You need to utilize your Breach and your blockers and Kira to make sure that every time you trade, you are receiving more or you are gaining more and the opponent is losing more every trade you make. It's a really good value deck. I played it in a tournament. I always forget this, but if you look at my limit list, you can see that I played in 2 tournaments this week. I played in one on Sunday. This is the white-red. This is the blue-red is not a pink deck, but we'll get to that. Anyways, I came 16th for the 30th. This was the list I used. All I did with this list that different is I took out the 3 Zoots. Like, I thought those would work, but it didn't work how I want. And then bump it to 4 Bukus. And that's it. So I came 16th for this list, for those who wanted to see. And I also played it casually. So some of the things I noticed is that this list is not good into green white wing, and that's a problem because that's probably the most popular deck out there right now. It is not good into it. Like, wing will always like outvalue you in some way, and I haven't found a way to beat wing with this version. which is why I end up creating the second version, the blue-red version. But this one is actually good into like other blocker decks and the blue-white unicorn. This one does a lot better than the blue-red that we are about to go into. Yeah, that's the only weakness. But like I say, you're looking for players you like. You want Jin, Zulu, and Buku early. Any of these, anything else is good, but those are your like turn 1, turn 2 players if you could get them. And then Sword Strike good if you're playing against aggro, and maybe if you need a 6 swing if you got Kira in your hand. Ale, perfect. Assault Shroud, like everything here, you don't got the best cards. Like you don't have the best cards in the game, so you got eco value every time you play something. So you gotta try and get the correct bounce with Ale. When you swing with Kira, you want to make a good trade, preferably not taking damage. The Blitz Gundam is just a secret combo that may or may not work when it come off. You get a lot of value there if it works. The Justice Gundam's a finisher. You only got one, so you can't really rely on it. But if you got that, you know, you got 4 Atherin. You should see Atherin. Desert Tiger's another surprise card that you want to pull out your buttocks when nobody ain't expecting it. And like utilize your stage to get the extra 1 AP, make your trades more equal or better than the opponents. And the deck requires a good pilot, and you piloting for value. It don't have a like, it doesn't have a direct wing con like how you say ramp to wing 0. This one is you playing for value. So, and that's the white red in a nutshell, I guess. Let me jump back and talk about the blue red. So same 25 card core, we can talk about the blue red now. First, what we did is we add 4 GMs. The reason for adding the 4 GMs is to make the early I wanted a more rush focused deck. So now you got 8 1 cost level 2s. So you should be able to drop at least one of these on turn 1 or turn 2, depending on what player if you are the first player or second player. So I added 4 Jins to shore up the So I added 4 Jains to shore up the early game and give me some more rush potential. Next, I add 1 G Fighter. This probably could be 2, but I ain't decided yet. The unblockable is not only good for going for game, but let me say there's a target you need to take out and they have it protected by blockers. This and Amuro, this take out most things and is a nice combo to have. So yes, Amuro is the pilot in this game, in this version. Next, we got 4 Rizels. Everybody know Rizel. Rizel is just value incarnate. Is a 3-2 for 4-3 stats. Most people play at least 1 Rizel in blue. Is a very good value engine. So we got 4 Rizels. That's it. We got 3 Grandpas. This could be 4. I haven't fully decided if I want to run 4 yet. Right now I run in the 1 G Fighter. But you could probably swap something to get in a 4th Grandpa. But from playing, what I realize is I don't always feel like I get good value out of Grandpa. Like on turn 3, if you was the second player and got the EX resource, is an amazing player, but 5 HP ain't really saying nothing. He only got 5 AP. Like Grandpa he really good, but then sometimes he don't feel necessary. Even in this deck where the +1 should be boosting my Zaft units, it has never really like come into play enough that I care. So I actually think maybe you could even swap this out, but let me not go there yet. I need to do more testing and we can see how it goes. But it's 3 Grandpas. And then Banshee Destroy mode. We got 3 of these. This is your finisher, and this deck actually has like a kind of specified win con. What you want to do is play out your early game and just trade as best you can, get as many shields as you can. You ideally want to get the opponent down to 0 or 1 shield, and then you go drop Banshee, pair it with Marita. Which sadly we only got 2 Maritas, but we got 3 Banshees and 2 Maritas. Banshee, Marita, double swing. Hopefully you win the game. That's like the basic win con of this deck. Hopefully you got 12 cards in your grave. If you got 24, you definitely win. But that's the basic play of this game. You got Amuro next, one of the best pilots in blue. This is just rest things that got 5 or less HP. So Amuro, I don't think I gotta speak about Amuro too much. You got the 4 Amuros and then the Merida that I spoke about. This is your win con normally, and despite only having 3 Banshees and 2 Meridas, I did see this enough at the end game that this ratio good. You can bump it up. You're not really using Merida for the pinging because that don't really help too much, but because this is the only unit that Merida can link with in this deck anyways. So this is your win con. And getting into the end game, like I find just with 3-2, even though this is the ratio used because that's all it opened, it works really well. So like when you get to the stage where you can play this, you will normally have the combo. Very rarely will you not have the combo. Like you don't need to mulligan for part of it. I find that you always just get there. So if you want to copy the deck exactly, you do not need to up this ratio, but do some testing, and if you feel you want more Meridas, you want an Ksatria, up to you. I don't want the LR Ksatria, and the vanilla one not worth it to me because it only have 2 Meridas. So that's the thought process behind that. And then the last card in the blue-red is a Sure Resolve. I got 4. I ain't decided if that need to go down or not, because like I said, Sonny, you still need to find your Merida and your Banshee destroy mode, so the 4 Sure Resolves does come in handy. Let me just show you the full deck on screen now. And the idea of this deck is to drop these little guys, boost them up with Buku. So you got the Jin and the Gem. Boost them up with Buku, get some good trades. Keep trading dual Gundam and MA mode if you get a trade and a breach tree. And you get a shield gone, you good to go. G-Fighter is not just an endgame card. Sometimes it is used with Amuro to get specific trades that people might be trying to protect. Like somebody might have a Ale Strike and a Zoart, and the attack with the Ale Strike and want protect it with Zoart. G-Fighter, or at least G-Fighter and Amuro, you can rest the Zoart and swing. If they had a Zoart, a Lift Rift, and an Ale Strike, G-Fighter and Amuro, it don't matter which one you rest, unblockable, swing into that Ale Strike is a better trade for you. You traded a G-Fighter and an Amuro for an Ale Strike and a Kira. I think you come out on top on that trade. So that's what that combo for. Rizal is just value. Aegis is a tech card in case they got big boys. Gundam, I still don't know how I feel about this, but Gundam and Amuro still come in handy. And then the Banshee mode is your finisher. And that's it. Like I say, you pull this out your buttocks and get a surprise. You got your draw card. Vesalius, don't forget this is give 1 AP. And there's the red-blue version. So that is the breakdown of both versions right now. Like I said, I built a 25 card core Zaft, a blue version, and a white version. The blue version came about, I forgot to say, because the white version does struggle into wing. So the blue version does way better into wing because it's more aggressive and it got good trades like the breach and the Banshee destroy mode. So it does better into wing, a lot better than the white version, but it does not do good into blocker decks because they just outvalue you. So right now what I do is I gotta guess what I can run into on the day. So if I can run into a lot of wings, I would play the blue-red version. And if I would run into a lot of blockers, like blue-white blockers, unicorn mode, those kind of decks, I would run the white version. And it kind of cool, but kind of annoying that you don't know how the meta will settle. So right now I got 2 versions. When I get more cards to open, I will upgrade them and I will keep you in on this journey. And I think that's it for the video. Like, you could pick any version, both pretty solid. They're not the best decks in the world, but I built them myself based on my constrictions and they turn out pretty good. I don't like the fact that like the meta kind of hard. Like you gotta guess what you can see on the day. If I run into a bunch of wings, the blue-red version will be amazing. But then if I run into a bunch of blockers, this is not that good. Run into a bunch of blockers, the white-red version is amazing. But if then I run into a lot of wings, not that good. You are fairly even into the aggro matchups. The aggro matchups come down to if you draw your early game, you could win. Like Aegis MA mode good against the aggro. Dual Gundam good against the aggro. Buku good against the aggro because you just get good trades. But the problem with the aggro matchup is that you need to draw good and you need to draw on curve. If you don't draw on curve, you will lose because Aggro still could put out more units than you on that turn. So it's amazing to see. And if you make it this far, I don't say often, but subscribe. I'm setting a Patreon. I can just add this on. I don't know how long this video is. Like, how long have I been recording? Like 25 minutes. So if you're still here, thank you. And this is my first official deck profile. I had fun. I am happy. I enjoying the game. I hope you are too. And I'll see you in the next video.